local elections back in May 2026. First things to say to all of you is congratulations on becoming elected. It's a real privilege to serve in public life, so I look forward to working with you. Agenda item 1, apologies for absence.
We don't have any apologies apart from Councillor Anderson isn't here as yet.
Councillor Anderson is stuck on a train or trying to get into the meeting, we understand. So, agenda item 2, the minutes from the Cabinet meeting of the 18th of March 2026. I moved them, but none of us were present because we weren't in the Cabinet. So, quite how we would approve them as a record.
Just note them.
We would just note them between ourselves. Happy to note them. Everyone happy to note the previous minutes? Yeah. Agenda item 3, items of urgent business. There's nothing tabled as urgent business from the Leader of the Council. Agenda item 4, does anyone have any declarations of interest to make? No? Okay. None recorded. Agenda item 5, statements by the Leader. I think the first thing to say is that we are all here to serve the public, no matter how they voted, no matter where they voted or how they voted, and it's a privilege to do so. Secondly, you will notice on the first day of our administration, which was a reset for Thurrock, that we launched the Thurrock coat of arms outside the council offices, the civic offices of Grays. On that, there's the logo, "By Thames to the people of the world," and a focus of all administrations in Thurrock, particularly this one, is connecting with the river and the estuary and our heritage. And you'll notice as we push forward, that will underpin that commitment to civic pride, and our geographic location will underpin much of what we seek to do here. I was very proud to be council leader on as we launched the Armed Forces flag at the beginning of Armed Forces Week on the beginning 22nd of June. I know tomorrow, the 24th of June, is the celebration of Armed Forces reservists, and then it's Armed Forces Day on the 27th of June. And we're proud to, we had such a great turnout. It was amazing to see. Thanks for all of your efforts in making that happen. And today, it was great to be at the staff awards for an hour or two. You know, we employ more than 2,500 amazing people. People are public service workers, often working, I'd say, anonymously, quietly, getting about their business, serving the community. And one of them has worked for Thurrock Council for 47 years and about to retire. But it humbled me. I made the point I've been in office for 27 days. So I felt a little bit like an imposter at that event earlier. And I hope they enjoy their retirement. Okay. Agenda item 6, briefings on policy, budget and other issues. We have none planned for this evening. Agenda item 7, petitions submitted by members of the public. No members of the public have submitted petitions to be presented. And agenda item 8, questions from non-executive members. We don't have any questions from non-exec members. Agenda item 9, matters referred to the Cabinet for consideration by an overview and scrutiny committee. We don't have any matters referred to the Cabinet by overview and scrutiny yet, but I would say with so many keen newly elected members, I think that position will change pretty quickly as we go into future Cabinet meetings, and we look forward to that. We look forward to that scrutiny. Agenda item 10, appointment to outside bodies, statutory and other panels. If you turn to pages 17 to 24, you'll see the grid. Particularly page 23, On Impulse Leisure, Councillor Stephen Davis. We propose for the Local Government Association, Councillor Alan Benson and Councillor Sarah Points. And for the Thurrock Community Safety Partnership, Councillor Cherry. All other positions will remain vacant, and we would advise at the July Cabinet. Any questions related to that? And does, therefore, the Cabinet approve the nominations to outside bodies, statutory and other panels as read out at this meeting? Okay, thank you. Right, agenda item 11, floating support service, mental health and learning disabilities. Can I ask Councillor Rob Willoughby, the Cabinet member, to introduce the report, please?
Am I on? Am I on? Yes. Okay. Well, good evening all, and I trust you'll give me some sympathy as this is my first time of addressing the Cabinet. So this is a request, it's agreement to procure a floating support service where current contract was put in place in 2019 and it expires in 26. I believe it has already been extended by 1 year, so it's not practical to extend it another year. It is in fact a statutory service where Thurrock is required under the Care Act to provide support that reduces care needs and improves an individual well-being. Additionally, linking to housing legislation, it is provided also to reduce the risk of homelessness. The floating support will focus upon help with daily tasks, managing finances and living independently. This service has a value of approximately 150k, which is very cost effective. Average of 3 hours per week at circa £20 per hour equates to £3,000 per individual. And I know that £20 per hour, where we've done some studies, is considerably less than other areas are actually paying for it. One of the questions that was raised, there are no asylum seekers in this service. And whilst there are no specific requirements of armed forces veterans, and that's because that's not on the application, as it were, but it's something that maybe perhaps in the future will need to be considered, whether that is a question for people who want this service to ask for. So that's the paper. You've all got it, and if there's any questions that anybody wishes to raise, I'm sure our officer at the back here, Robert Percy, will help me to answer them.
Thanks, Councillor Willoughby. Any questions from the Cabinet? No. Okay.
So should I take the recommendations?
Well, I will do the recommendations, but I was going to just make a few points here. On well done to you and the officers for driving down cost pressures in this. You know, we've looked at it in quite a lot of detail since we came in. I think it's a very good idea to make veterans associations and the armed forces community aware of this service. So on that basis, we would move forward to the recommendations 2.1, as you're seeing in your paper. For the reasons set out in this report, the recommendations are: first, to approve going to market to source a provider able to fulfil the service requirements outlined below, assessed on an 80% quality and a 20% cost basis. This contract will run from January the 1st, 27 through to March 31st, 2032, with the option to extend until March 31st, 2033, and that the power to award the contract be delegated to the Executive Director for Adult and Health in consultation with the relevant portfolio holder. Are we all happy to accept those recommendations? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Agenda item 12, procurement of statutory out-of-school tuition services for children and young people. Please can Councillor Milena Bingley introduce the reports.
Good evening. This report seeks Cabinet approval to procure a new open framework for statutory out-of-school tuition service for children and young people who are unable to attend school due to medical needs, SEND, were awaiting a suitable school place, social, emotional and mental health needs, and other complex circumstances. We currently support around 115 pupils through tuition service with average cost of approximately 15,000 per pupil each year. Pupils often end up being in receipt of tuition for up to 2 years. Demand continues to increase, and the current commissioning approach does not provide sufficient price competition or flexibility. The procurement of a new framework of providers to deliver tuition places a much stronger emphasis on reintegration, early intervention, and securing better value for money. It will broaden the range of providers available to Thurrock, increase price competition, support innovation in delivery, and introduce dedicated tutoring and mentoring packages designed to help children return to education as quickly as possible. This approach supports both our statutory responsibilities and our wider ambition within Thurrock SEND strategy and corporate plan by helping children remain engaged in education, achieve better outcomes, and prepare for adulthood. The proposed framework is expected to deliver better outcomes and achieve at least 325,000 of annual savings through stronger price competition and improved reintegration. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from the floor? No. Again, thank you to the Cabinet member and the staff for bringing this forward. And we've done a lot of work behind the scenes, again, to address potential cost pressures. One of the acknowledgements of putting this through is that we move much more towards prevention of spend like this in the future, and that we drive children and young people back into school and much more social environments. And I know there's massive cost pressures on the system, but be under no illusion, this administration will do everything possible to go through each balance sheet and drive down cost pressures and address the root causes of what is making such enormous spends for all local authorities. It's not just Thurrock. But there's been a lot of good work done within the department, and I have to say, preceding us becoming the administration, from staff within Thurrock Council, from the commissioners, they really have done a lot of detailed analysis and work in driving down future costs here. So thanks for bringing the final package together, Councillor Milena Bingley, and we therefore move forward to the various recommendations. 2.1, approve the procurement of an open framework for the provision of tuition services. 2.2, that authority to award the framework agreement at 2.1 be delegated to the Executive Director of Children's Services in consultation with the portfolio holder for education, skills and children's services. 2.3, that authority to determine the mechanism for the award of call-off contracts and to approve the award of call-off contracts under the framework agreement at 2.1 to be delegated to the Executive Director for Children's Services if the contract value is below the key decision threshold. To the Executive Director for Children's Services in consultation with the portfolio holder for education and children's services and the Council's Section 151 officer if the contract value is above the key decision threshold, which from October we aim to reduce that key decision threshold to £250,000. So are we all in agreement with that? Agreed. Agreed. Thank you. Item 13, new lease agreements for council properties. Please can I remind council members that appendices 1 and 2 to this report are exempt as they contain confidential information, so we are not permitted to discuss their contents. We do therefore have to ask that members of the public present here tonight now do need to leave the room. Are Cabinet members happy to proceed without discussing the appendices?
Yes.
Okay. You can move to recommendations. So, because we don't choose to discuss the exempt items, we do not need to ask non-members of Cabinet to leave the room. So, just to clarify. So, we're going to move to the recommendations. For the reasons set out in the report, the Cabinet is recommended to approve the grant of 2 new leases to Runwood Homes and Bennett Lodge and Leveland Lodge as per the heads of terms. 2.2, authorise the Executive Director place and Section 151 officer in consultation with the Cabinet Member for Resources to finalise and complete the lease documentation in accordance with the agreed heads of terms. Are the recommendations agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you, colleagues. So, that concludes our first Cabinet meeting. Thanks for the job of work tonight and for resetting the borough, and we'll see you back in Cabinet in July. Thank you.
Thank you.